Hi everybody, I'm Charlie, and this is On Air, my Beatles collection. Well, yesterday was the official release date for the Beatles Anthology, both the collection and Anthology 4. So I'm going to do an unboxing here today. I didn't have the opportunity yesterday to do it. It arrived late in the day, so I'm going to do it here. And I got it from Amazon. I have ranted in the past about the fact that if you buy these things from the Beatles store, or if you buy the solo stuff from the Paul store, or the John store, or the Ringo store, or George store, all those other providers ship the product on the release date. Amazon ships it for arrival on the release date. So anyway, yesterday was the release date. And here's the box from Amazon. So I'm gonna take my trusty X-Acto knife and cut through the tape. And we'll see what they did inside the box. Sometimes, you know, Amazon uses these big boxes for shipment. And then you get inside there and something's just bouncing around inside the box. So let's see what's bouncing around inside the box today. Well, it's a good sign. There's a box bouncing around inside the box. So that's good to see. Then you have these really difficult to open boxes. You know, they have these pull tabs. And they almost never go all the way across, but call me a liar, it went all the way across. So you can see the box, it's what's on the outside of the box, tells you what's in it, tells you it's made in Germany. Optimal, that would mean. Great place to get your vinyl pressed. And out it comes, and there it is. There's a look in the side. You see the albums. So look on the other side. Nothing on top. So when the McCartney compilation, the Wings compilation came out, when was that? Last week? Anyway, when it came out, I commented that the box, when you looked at it from the front, the records came out this way, and they almost always come out this way. And of course, this one is normal. Somebody commented on here that maybe it's because Paul's left-handed. Maybe. I'm left-handed myself, but I'm so used to the records coming out this side. Now I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna use my pick, my platinum, and try to get the rest of this open without doing any damage. To the box or the records themselves. So that was pretty easy. Got it out of there. Now I'm gonna just pull the. There's no hype stickers or anything on there, so there's really no point in keeping the plastic. The only thing is on there, it says "Made in Germany" on the back, and yeah, you can see that there. That was on on the bottom in the back. So I have it upside down now, so I'll turn it right back upside. There we go. And of course, this is the slip sleeve here, slip case. So we'll take that off. I'll put the box down for a minute, and we'll focus on this for a minute. So this is the same cover that they used for the re-release of the Anthology book. Same picture anyway, obviously it's not the same exact thing. Same picture. And the back has all the track list. That's good. So here is the, if you take the slipcase off, this is what the back looks like. It's got the, you know, the frame motif from the original Anthology. And then up top, it says this set includes the 3 groundbreaking Anthology albums from the mid-90s. remastered in 2025 by Giles Martin, plus a new compilation, Anthology 4. I'd like to stop right there. I know for a fact that they also remixed some of the material on Anthology 1, 2, and 3. I'm surprised that they haven't said more about that. I'm surprised they haven't, in their marketing, they haven't made it clear to a modern audience that this is not exactly what you bought in 1995 and 1996, if you bought it then, because a lot of it was the Peter Jackson MAL technology was applied, so they could separate sound and take out noise that they couldn't take out before, and rebalance things by separating into multiple tracks what might have been on a mono tape to begin with. So from what I've heard, particularly the very old stuff, the stuff that would have been on Anthology 1 on the first side, particularly that stuff, which sounded pretty terrible back in 1995. It was fun to hear it because most of it we hadn't heard before, but it's a lot more fun to hear it when it isn't noisy and scratchy and muffled. So I don't think they did a good job of marketing just by saying Giles Martin remastered it. It's more than remaster. There's a lot of remix, and I think that's going to be a big difference. Now, you could still argue, should I spend money for volume 1, 2, and 3 when I already have it on maybe vinyl, already have it maybe on CD, already have it on tape. A lot of us collectors have it in all those formats. I actually have the Beatles Anthology video on Laserdisc, and the box that it came in was not a lot unlike this in terms of its size and its scope, and only it had a drawer in it that slides out that contained the discs for the movie. And I long ago took those out and put the first three volumes of Anthology in there, and it fits really nicely in the box, as do these 4 here. So I'm going to put this right beside that, and I'm going to have the original Anthology 3 volumes right next to the current Anthology 4 volumes, on the bookshelf, and it'll look, like this, and there'll be another box next to it. Then, in addition to that, one of my videos from a couple of weeks ago was a bootleg set called Anthology Outtakes, and that's a numbered, very low volume item that's also a box set. I'm going to have the 3 of them side by side, so I'm going to have a nice little setup for Anthology vinyl. And that set is color vinyl, as a matter of fact. These are not, of course, these are black vinyl. So anyway, like I said, the fact that they say remastered by Giles Martin, I don't think that impresses too many people. Most people don't have the ears to distinguish between an original master and a remaster, but they know a remix, particularly if they're very familiar with the original material, and then all of a sudden you hear something that you hadn't heard before, or something has gone away that was noise that now is not there anymore. Those are significant changes. So I'm expecting good things when I put these vinyl records on the turntable. I've heard some of this stuff on iTunes and that sort of thing. But I want to hear what happens when I put the needle on the record. And when I get time, I'm going to do some A-B side-by-side comparison to see how I feel about the new mixes. Anyway, so there's no booklet or anything with this like there normally would be with the Super Deluxe box set. I guess we can call this a Super Deluxe box set. It doesn't have any other goodies in the box. But anyway, here's the first one, and it's basically almost identical to what you would have gotten in 1995. See if there has any new markings or anything like that. It's basically the same thing as it was before. So let's open it. So of course it opens in a trifold. And I'll take one of the records out. I'll see what else is in here. I'm not sure if there's if there's a booklet or sheet or something that comes with each record, you know, with each volume. It is quite difficult to get the record out. All right, so it's a polyline sleeve with the Granny Smith apple. I did notice on another video, and I now notice it because it's in my hand, it does not, the label does not list the song titles. It just says, see sleeve for details. I guess you can't fit that many tracks on the label. These are not, you know, your old school albums with, you know, 6 or 7 songs on each side. There's a whole bunch of songs. So, so there's the black vinyl. Again, from Optimal. They do a great job. Looks perfectly flat. And then, of course, you got the cut apple on the other side. So, pretty much what you would expect there. And the polyline sleeve, of course, that's always nice. Now let's see what else is in here, because I think there's probably a booklet, like, you know, similar to what you would get with a compact disc. You would get a booklet. So I'm thinking there's a booklet in here. It's a little unwieldy because there's 3 records, and there's 3 pockets. Well, there's the next disc there. We won't take that out. And now I'm in pocket number 3, and there's that one. Well, let's see. I don't see anything else in here. I don't feel any booklets in there. I don't feel anything in there. There's nothing in there. So no, there is just the detail for each song there in the notes. Okay. Well, I'm a little disappointed. I thought there might be a booklet in here. So not. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's volume 1. And I'll just put those to the side for now. Put it all back together later. And there's volume 2. Again, all the tracks are the same. There's no new tracks on this version. Open it up so you can see the inside. And there's your gatefold. Trifold, I should say. You may have read that Mark Lewison wrote the notes for the first 3 albums. On the back of these albums, in the upper corner, there is a credit to Mark. It says additional research. It doesn't actually say, you know, what he wrote. And the only thing that's actually written besides the studio information, which I guess he wrote that as well, but although there's no specific credit for that. But there's also, on each panel, there is a Derek Taylor couple paragraphs from Derek Taylor, and I think Lewison actually wrote this or constructed this from tapes that Derek Taylor had put together for each of the first 3 albums. Apparently, there's been a little bit of a feud with Mark Lewison and Apple, and I'm not exactly sure what the root cause of that is, but. Kevin Howlett got the job for Anthology 4, which I have here, and I'm looking under additional research, and there it is, Kevin Howlett. Actually, Kevin Howlett and Mike, can't quite read it, so tiny. Hartley, I think it says. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that. It's a really super tiny print on the back there. But anyway, let's go back. So let's. So this is volume 3, of course, and there's the back of volume 3. You're probably familiar with what's on here, and here's the trifold for that. Some nice pictures, a nice This panel is nice, the Derek Taylor panel, which is not technically the back. The back is that, the frame. And then volume 4, of course, is right here. And, you know, the triptych from the first, second, and third volume wasn't extended to a fourth panel. They just took all 3 of them. They did copy the motif with the frame, the back of the frame, and so on. And they have what looks like a post-it note on there with the, you know, with the song titles. So if you're not familiar with it, this has. I'm not going to tell you the take numbers and so all that. Oh, yes, I will. So side 1 starts with I Saw Her Standing There, take 2, and then Money. It says Room 7 undubbed, and then This Boy takes 12 and 13. Tell Me Why takes 4 and 5. If I Fell, take 11. Matchbox, take 1. Every Little Thing takes 6 and 7. I Need You, take 1. And so now we're on side 2 of the first disc here. I've Just Seen a Face, take 3. In My Life, take 1. Nowhere Man, it says first version, take 2. Got to Get You Into My Life, second version, unnumbered mix. Love You Too, take 7. Strawberry Fields Forever, take 26. And She's Leaving Home, take 1, instrumental. And so that's actually side 2. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. Now we go to side 3, which is, you know, the first side of disc 2. Baby You're a Rich Man takes 11 and 13. All You Need Is Love, which is a rehearsal for a BBC broadcast. And then Fool on the Hill, which is take 5, and that's also an instrumental. Then you have I Am the Walrus, take 19, and it says strings, brass, and clarinet overdubs. And then we go to side 4, Hey Bulldog, take 4, and that's an instrumental version. And then we go to Good Night, which is take 10 with a guitar part taken from take 5. And then While My Guitar Gently Weeps, third version, take 27. You're So Square, Baby I Don't Care, that's a jam. Then Helter Skelter, the second version, take 17. I Will, take 29. Can You Take Me Back, take 1. You might remember there's a little snippet of that on the White Album before Revolution 9. This is an extended version of that. And then we have Julia, which is from 2 rehearsals. And then we get to side 5, which has Get Back, take 8. And then Octopus's Garden, just a rehearsal. Don't Let Me Down, the first rooftop performance. You Never Give Me Your Money, take 36. Here Comes the Sun, take 9. Let's see. Something, take 39. And that's instrumental. And strings only. And then side 6, the last side, has the 2025 remix of Free as a Bird, the 2025 remix of Real Love, and the version of Now and Then that we got 2 years ago. So the 3 so-called Beatles singles are all on side 6 by themselves. So that is Anthology 4. Of course, we know that some of this stuff was on the Super Deluxe editions of Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, Abbey Road, and or Let It Be. But there's, I think there's 13 tracks that are brand new that we haven't heard before. Of course, a lot of us that collect bootlegs have a lot of this stuff in sort of an inferior audio for the most part. It's nice to get them officially, from the band, from Apple, because, let's face it, the bootlegs are a lot of times copies of a copy of a copy. In fact, bootleggers steal other bootlegs. So, a lot of times there's not really good source material. So it's nice to get this stuff in official form, and I'm sure it's going to sound very nice and very clean. I wish there was a Blu-ray. There isn't. There are CDs. Now, I started before by talking about how Amazon delivers on release day. I also ordered the CD set, and that has not shipped yet. So here we are. It's a day after release date. It hasn't shipped, and mine happens to be coming from Central Europe because there's a discount house that I use that it's quite a bit cheaper, even with shipping cost. But you know, they ship all over the world. It takes time to get here from there. I'm in the U.S., so I'll probably get that 2 weeks from now, if I'm lucky. But you know, we have streaming, and I have the vinyl, so you know, we're in good shape, I guess. But I wish there was a Blu-ray. That to me, that's the most audible difference between vinyl, CDs, and a Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is much different. You know, if somebody blindfolded you and put you in a room and put the vinyl on, and then somewhere midstream they put the CDs on, I'm thinking you wouldn't notice a lot of difference that the source had changed. Maybe you would. I mean, you know, some people really have great ears for this stuff. You know, most people, they just want to hear the song, and, you know, they're not going to really differentiate two different sources like that. But a Blu-ray, you'll know the difference. Well, mostly because, you know, you're getting surround sound on most of the Blu-rays. So, you know, it's considerably different. But anyway, I wish they did that, and, you know, they didn't. Fortunately, on the Wings collection that came out 2 weeks ago, they did do that. So the Blu-ray is, you know, considerably different than the vinyl. I love the sound of the vinyl. I've never lost my interest in vinyl, but I love surround sound too. And you know, that 5.1, you know, that really makes a difference. So, and I've told people before, you know, when I do surround, you know, I have the remote in my hand, and I crank up the rear speakers because I want to hear it all around me. I don't want it to be a subtle, you know, thing that, you know, like when you watch a movie, sometimes the surround is, you know, it only comes in when there's a high tense moments, or with certain music and stuff. You know, with Beatles stuff, or with Wings stuff, or whatever, anything you listen to, Pink Floyd or whoever you listen to, when you hear it in surround, I mean, it to me, it's dramatically different and dramatically better, and from my thoughts. Now, I know surround wasn't around when, you know, the Beatles were mixing, and they didn't even like to bother mixing in stereo. They knew they had to do it, but they focused on the mono mix, and when the mono mix was done, they were happy, and they let George Martin and the other guys do their thing to turn it into stereo. But you know, their focus was on mono, so they certainly, you know, weren't thinking about surround sound or anything like that. But with today's technology, they can do it. So anyway, that's the box set, and I'm happy to have it. It's really well done. It's, you know, this is a nice firm box. I still have one album that I have to put back in there. That's why it looks a little loose. The records are kind of tight in there. There was no room for a book. I'm disappointed that there isn't that. I know there was another version of this that cost a little bit more if you bought it from the Beatles store, that had pictures, black and white pictures. I think there were 4. I did not pay the extra $20 or whatever it was to get those. I got plenty of pictures. I got plenty of books. I would have liked a book to read, you know, a la the Super Deluxe editions. But there's plenty of liner notes to read. I'm just going to assume that the liner notes under each song, where, you know, there's a paragraph this long under each song title, I'm going to assume those are the Mark Lewison notes, and on Anthology 4, the Kevin Howlett notes, because otherwise their names are not mentioned anywhere in here, specifically for a writer credit on a written, you know, paragraph. It's just in that upper corner that I showed you, where it said additional research. It doesn't say writing, it says additional research. But anyway, I believe that Lewison wrote all those notes, including the Derek Taylor notes. from tape of Derek Taylor, but also I believe he wrote the track notes for each song, and I believe that was Kevin Howlett for Anthology 4. Again, for reasons of Apple doesn't, wanted Kevin Howlett this time. So I guess Mark Lewis is in the doghouse for some reason. But so anyway, that's the box. I'm going to put the slipcase back on it so it looks like it did when it came out of the shipping package. And see how easy it is to get that back on without messing something up. Not that easy, actually. All these things that they've done lately are they're very firm, but they're also tight. And I actually can't get it on easily. There we go. No, there I go. Yeah, okay. So, you put it all the way down. And on the back, it's good it doesn't obscure what's written above. So, it's a nice package. Happy to have it. It's going to look great on the shelf, and it's going to sound great. And it's going to look great next to its brother from 1995-96. So, anyway, that's it for today. I know this is not all that exciting because by now, all my competitors on YouTube have gotten their freebie a couple of weeks in advance, or they got their delivery already and they've already done their shows if they're going to do them. I haven't seen too many that do the whole box. I've seen a couple that do Anthology 4 only. I've seen a couple that do just a CD of Anthology 4 or the package of all 4 volumes on the CD. So, my own followers here want to see what I'm doing, so that's what I'm doing. Anthology 2025, right here. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And come back and see us soon. Thanks for stopping by today. Take care.